Shio, welcome back to our Parts of the Plant series. So far, we've learned about 3 plant parts, and this week, it's time to learn about yet another one. Before we do though, let's review the parts of the plant that we've learned about so far. The first plant part included vegetables like carrots, garlic, and jicama. What was the first plant part that we talked about? It was the roots. Remember, the roots are like the straw because they suck up water from the soil that plants live in. Now, how about our next part of the plant? It included vegetables like this asparagus, this bright red rhubarb, and celery. What part of the plant is this? It's the stems. Remember, the stems are like the elevator that carries water up from the roots and nutrients down to the roots. Now, how about the plant part that we talked about last week? It included vegetables like lettuce, cabbage, and arugula. What plant part could this be? These are all leaves. Remember, we can think of the leaves as the chefs of the plant because they make food for the plant using photosynthesis. Now, it's time to learn about the part of the plant for this week. What do you think it is? This week, we'll be learning about flowers. I bet you knew that flowers are a part of the plant, but did you know that you can eat some flowers too? Before we get into the flowers we can eat though, let's learn about how flowers are helpful to the plant. Flowers have a very important role for the plant, attracting pollinators. Flowers usually have big, bright, and beautiful petals or a sweet smell that brings pollinators in. Since flowers help attract insects and animals, we can think of them like a big, bright neon sign saying, "Come on over." Let's learn a little more about pollinators. Pollinators are special animals and insects that spread pollen between flowers while they drink the nectar of the flower. See that yellow stuff on the bee's leg? Well, that's pollen. Bees are some of the most important pollinators because they pollinate almost 80% of all plants in the world. Not only that, but bees take the nectar from flowers and use it to make honey. Next time you have some honey or eat any part of the plant, you can thank a bee. Bees aren't the only pollinators though. Some other important pollinators are butterflies, hummingbirds, and even beetles like this ladybug are great pollinators. Now, let's talk about flowers that we can eat. First, do you know any flowers that we can eat? Let's start with a food we've already talked about, asparagus. Do you see that purple top of the asparagus? Well, that's a flower. If you've ever had asparagus, you've probably eaten a flower before. We've also talked about broccoli from the stem group, but did you know the dark green part at the top of the broccoli is a bunch of tiny flowers? It's true. These are flowers that haven't bloomed yet. They are such a tasty flower. Another flower that we eat is cauliflower. Both broccoli and cauliflower are the only two flowers that are in the vegetable group. Artichokes are an unbloomed flower that you can eat. Some flowers are used as decoration in food, especially salads. These include nasturtium, which is a spicy tasting flower, pansies, and marigolds. Honeysuckle flowers are not made of honey, but are just as sweet as honey. When the flowers are dried, they make a tasty tea. Other flowers that are great in tea are hibiscus flowers, lavender, which has a calming effect, rosebuds, chamomile, and so many more. Have you ever had any of these flowers before? Which ones are you excited to try? Last but not least, it's time for the parts of the plant dance. Make sure you have enough space to get up and move around. First, let's crouch down like tiny seeds. And first we grow roots, 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 roots and stems, 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 and leaves, 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 and flowers, 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 flowers. Now fruits, 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 and seeds. And then we grow roots, 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 and stems, 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 and leaves, 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 and flowers, 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 flowers. Pick those fruits, 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 and seeds. Good job on that. And with that, we finished our flower lesson. I hope you had fun learning with me.